The next slide I'm gonna talk about is this question, asking this question. Is it healthy or is it not healthy? The issue I have with food today is that sometimes what healthy or not healthy is not actually dictated by the label or the nutritional facts. What happens most of the time is that it's marketing that tells you it's healthy or not healthy. Case in point, how about the first thing that I wanted to talk about was frozen yogurt. Yes, frozen yogurt, a very, very popular healthy snack or a healthy dessert. Most people gravitate towards frozen yogurt because they feel like it's a lot healthier than ice cream. Okay? But guess what? There is more sugar in frozen yogurt than ice cream. In fact, this data comes from a very, very good source saying that and a half cup scoop of frozen yogurt, 17 grams is sugar. Ice cream is 14 grams of sugar per serving. Now, what does that mean? Well, it basically means that 1 teaspoon of sugar is actually equivalent to 4 grams. So with ice cream, it's about 3.5, but we expected that. Frozen yogurt, almost 4.5 teaspoons of sugar. I bet you didn't expect that, right? If you think about it logically, the original, the authentic taste of yogurt is that it's tarty, it's sour. In Tagalog, it's maasim. Yet, they need to put in something to make it sweet. Guess what that is? It's usually sugar. So something that's supposedly healthy and good for your gut has now actually become really bad for you because it has so much sugar. Remember, the mindset of human beings is that if they think it's healthy, they will eat it or consume it more times than not. So if you go to a mall and you say to yourself, hey, I'm feeling like something sweet, you will probably say, I won't have the ice cream because it's not healthy. I'll probably have the frozen yogurt instead. You might have that 2-3 times. Now, you have it 3 times a week. That's 51 teaspoons of sugar. That's a lot. 51 grams of sugar, which is still a lot. So something for you definitely to consider. Okay? Now, I'm going to talk about popcorn next. Popcorn also supposedly a healthier alternative, a healthier snack. Okay? My issue with popcorn is that most of the time you buy that with it when you're eating it, when you're watching a movie. So when you pick up popcorn, when you pick this kind of snack, what usually happens is that you don't even realize, but it's a habitual type food. So you put it in. You don't even realize before the start of the movie, it's already finished. So you look at it, it's yummy, and you enjoy it. But one thing a lot of people don't look at is the nutritional facts and ingredients label. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down the nutritional facts and food label for this particular brand of popcorn. Okay, very popular brand. This is not the large container, this is the medium container. Okay, if you look at the sugar label and the nutritional facts, it says 8 grams of sugar. Now, 8 grams of sugar, as we mentioned earlier, is basically 2 teaspoons. 1 teaspoon is 4 grams, just as a reminder, okay? In this particular tub, the medium-sized tub, 14 servings, okay? If you do the math, you multiply it all together, that's 28 teaspoons of sugar. Now, that's a lot, okay? The issue there is that most people tell me, Harvey, I don't know where I go wrong, but I don't know why my sugar is high. I don't even eat desserts. I don't even eat this. Without realizing that there are some foods with hidden amounts of sugar that cause the body to actually make the sugar levels go up high without you even noticing it. That's popcorn. This particular one happens to be one of them. The other one that people don't realize is a bit of an issue is 3-in-1 coffee. Okay, 3-in-1 coffee is a big problem. If you look at the ingredients label, and here's one of the things that we teach. If you look at the way the ingredient label is listed, you will see that the first product listed is sugar. Number 2 is non-dairy creamer. Number 3 is coffee. Okay, think about that properly. First product listed is sugar. That means there's more sugar here than anything else. Second product listed, that's the second most ingredient used, and so on. So in this particular packet, there's only coffee is the least used. Okay, in fact, if you break it down further, you see that this particular packet is what? 16 grams, so 4 teaspoons. Okay, in that 4 teaspoons, 11 grams sugar. Okay, 11. Now, you do the math. That seems like an awful lot of sugar in supposedly a cup of coffee, or in 3-in-1 packet of coffee. Okay, 3.5 teaspoons of sugar. That's the problem here. Okay, too much sugar. Coffee isn't actually bad. It's all the other stuff that they add in to make the coffee bad. In fact, non-dairy creamer is also a hydrogenated oil, which is one of the main causes or blockages in our arteries, or a main cause of heart issue. Okay? Then I want to transition not just from sugar, because it's not just sugar. You have to also look at other sweeteners. Now, other sweeteners I actually classify as, maybe you can look at artificial sweeteners. Now, artificial sweeteners, I'll repeat that, artificial sweeteners. Artificial sweeteners is also an issue. Why? Because it causes acidity in the body. I'll repeat that. It causes acidity in the body because it increases inflammations. Even if it says 0 on the sugar in the nutritional label, it still does that to the body. Now, if you look at it, there's several different ones. There is a very popular one called acesulfame potassium, or acesulfame K. There's also sucralose. Also aspartame. Okay, this particular drink, the one that I was showing you, that is supposedly keto friendly. So keto, as you probably have heard or probably know, this particular drink has to have very low sugar. But yet when you drink it, it's so sweet. What makes it sweet? Artificial sweeteners. And it's on the label. Just because a label tells you it's keto friendly, or the marketing tells you it's keto friendly, it doesn't mean it's healthy. You have to ask yourself, okay, if it doesn't have any sugar, what do they put in to make it sweet? Okay, what do they put in to make it sweet? And this drink is not new, huh? You think that, oh, this drink is new because of the new colors, new packaging. If you go back, you will see that this particular drink mimics or copies an older drink. Very popular diet drink from many years ago. In fact, they did a repackaging of this particular drink. And this drink is probably the grandfather of all diet sodas. If you look at the sweetener they use, the same sucralose artificial sweetener, acesulfame potassium, is used. Sugar label, 0 grams. It's nothing new. Okay? But because of the marketing, the new sexy words like keto friendly, people say, this must be okay for me. Okay? Now, I want to show you a little bit of research, a little bit of information about it. Now, what is aspartame? What can these potential artificial sweeteners do to the body? Okay. Now, if you look at aspartame, today aspartame is about 6,000 to 7,000 different products in food. Okay? From chewing gum to toothpaste to drinks to desserts to many, many different things. Okay? But here's the issue. Do you know that the aspartame was considered by the Department of Defense as a potential biological warfare neurotoxin? Wow. That is a big deal. Something like that will definitely have some negative effects on your body. You might not feel it today. You might not feel it tomorrow. But I'm sure at a certain point, it's something that you will definitely feel. Because it's what it's designed for. Okay? Potential biological warfare neurotoxin. In fact, the FDA did a report on it called the Bresler Report. You can Google this. You can Google the birth of aspartame. You can look at this in more research, and it'll blow your mind even more. Look at all the potential tumors or potential cancer-causing issues that it may have on your body. Okay? Now, here's the thing. Once that thing touches your tongue, it breaks down into its base harmful components. Example, methanol, formaldehyde. These things are a major issue when it enters your body. How do you know it breaks down? Because at 85 degrees, these things are actually breaking down already. Your human body is at 98.6. Fahrenheit. So the issue here is that the moment it touches your tongue, it's breaking down. And when it breaks down that way, it harms and hurts your body. Okay? So please be aware. It's not about how it tastes or what the marketing says. Look at the ingredients, know the ingredients. All right? Even certain supplements are made to taste very good. Supposedly, B vitamins are fantastic for your body. But when they add it in water, it fizzes, it tastes like a soft drink. What do they add in to make it taste that way? This particular supplement, very popular in the market, look at the ingredients label. And you will also realize, oh, they use artificial sweeteners, they use harmful ingredients, even if the base or the original product is good for you. Remember what I said, a product can be really positive for the body or negative. One small change will make the product go from great to absolutely terrible. Be aware. Okay, next, let's look at my favorite other sweetener, the one that really blows my mind away. Okay, if you look at the product right now on screen, you will see that this is a meal replacement, scientifically formulated for people with diabetes. I'll repeat that. Scientifically formulated for people with diabetes. Remember our rule. The first product listed is the one most used. You get it? Okay. When it's one most used, it means that there's more of this product than anything else inside the can. Okay. What now is maltodextrin? Okay. Maltodextrin is actually a polysaccharide. So on the nutritional fact, it's not listed under it's not listed under sugar. It's listed under total carbohydrate. The problem with this product is that it may be a polysaccharide, but it behaves exactly like simple and refined sugar. It will spike up your blood sugar for sure. Okay? All right. Now think about that. So as a diabetic, here I am. I'm ready to buy this product. I'm looking at it. Oh, it has basically no sugar. The total carbohydrates is something that the diabetics don't even look at. The immediate thing and the only thing they look at is sugar. So when they see sugar as low or zero or values are very low, they say, this is safe for me, I'll take it. Plus, it says on the can, scientifically formulated for people with diabetes. So if you believe the marketing, you see the nutritional facts, you understand that this is actually safe for me as a diabetic. But if you don't know the product, then you realize, oh my gosh, this can actually be very harmful for me. In fact, the green stevia packet, the ones that you see perhaps in the grocery, if you look at the ingredients, it says first product listed is maltodextrin. So the marketing, the brand, the label says this stevia, without you realizing it, is that there's not really that much stevia. The first product listed, so there's at least 51% maltodextrin. Now, just be aware. Okay, be aware. So don't fall for the trap that, oh, this is 100% stevia. We hear it all the time at the center, at Barometer. They tell us, oh, I'm taking stevia. And then when we find out what kind of stevia are you taking, they say the one in the green packet. And we tell them, that's more maltodextrin than stevia. They get blown away. No, it cannot be. It has to, I'm sure it's stevia. It might say stevia on the pack, but if you look at the ingredients label, it says maltodextrin first, and then stevia as a second product. So be aware. That's all the reminder that we're telling you. Okay. Now, another really popular health drink or health snack that a lot of our kids, even when we were kids, were taking it, is this product. It's a really popular probiotic drink. Couple of things to unwrap here. The first one is, if you notice the amount of different sweeteners they use. Okay. You look at it, there is maltodextrin, there's glucose, fructose syrup, and that's something you must be aware. Sugar is used today in different words. There's glucose syrup, there's maltodextrin, there's all of these different things. But you just have to understand what it is, okay? Now, for this particular product, if you look at it, that small 65 ml container has almost 2.5 teaspoons of sugar. Most adults don't put 2 teaspoons of sugar in their coffee. Now, 1 cup of coffee is 250 ml. It's exactly why if you give it to your kids say, I like this. I like this. This is healthy. Okay? The issue here is that there's too much sugar. And here's the other point. There is only one good bacteria here. The very popular Lactobacilli, Shirota strain. Okay? Now, the issue with that is that with your gut, you like multiple strains and you like it in high amounts, billions and billions of it. And the other issue is that Lactobacilli Shirota strain is very temperature sensitive. So when the temperature goes up, meaning if at any point that particular probiotic drink is mishandled and it actually is put in a place where the refrigeration breaks down and it goes back to its natural room temperature, that pretty much kills all the probiotic. So there's no goodness in that anymore. So be aware of what it is you're putting inside your body. There's another version of that drink. It's called the light version of it. Now, the light version of it, if you look at it, also includes other things. The sweeteners they use are aspartame and artificial sweeteners. But the other one is that something that you're probably not aware of is maltitol. Now, maltitol is an alcohol-based sugar. Alcohol-based sugar is a disruptor in the gut. And you know it's alcohol because it rhymes with alcohol, like maltitol, erythritol. So those things you have to be aware. The initial thought process of the product is fantastic. It's a probiotic drink, but the execution is all wrong. Because yes, they get the product to you with the marketing, but the actual product has lost its value along the way. Must realize what that is. Okay? All right. Now, going all together, shifting from a probiotic drink to a processed meat. Wow, what a big shift. Okay, so I'm taking you out of the sweetener range and I'm putting you into the more savory taste. Very, very popular Filipino, very, very popular breakfast food, processed meat. Now, this particular meat brand has been around, is I like to say as war food. It came in during the war, really for soldiers to bring around with them when they were in the jungle, right? So it's something that's really useful to know that when soldiers go out to war, a lot of people think, oh, they must have guns and all of that, but how do they eat? They don't bring a chef with them and cook in the middle of the jungle when things are happening. So things are not happening. So what you want to do is when you're on a break or about to rest, you open up a can, you eat it, and that's how you nourish yourself. But the problem is it has so much preservatives. Okay, number one I'll discuss here is that the preservative it uses is not sodium nitrate, sodium chloride like you and I are familiar with. It's sodium nitrites and sodium nitrates. Now, the issue with these things is that it is so toxic for the body, okay, that actually this is one of the major culprits for hypertension and kidney disease. Must know that, okay? And this is what makes that particular piece of meat, whatever that is, stay in the can for 3 years, all right? 3 years, not 3 days, not 3 weeks, 3 years issue. Okay, now I always ask kids this. If mom is a great cook and she cooks adobo for you or a very popular meat dish for you, leaves it on the table for 3 weeks, I always ask the kids, would you eat it? And they go, no, yuck, that would be spoiled. So my next question is, why would you eat this can that stays on the shelves for 3 years? What do they put in to make it last that long? Big issue. Now, going back to the other side is if you look at this particular can, it says 6 servings. Okay? How does it say 6 servings? Look at what is circled. It says 12 ounces. Serving size 2 ounces. So you got to be good at math, basic math, to be able to figure that out. So all the stuff on the nutritional facts is actually for supposedly 1 serving, but in a can there's 6 servings. Now, I grew up in a household where we ate this stuff as a kid. And I know this for sure, and most families will tell you this, that 1 can is never good for 6 people. It's usually 2 to 3 people that eat 1 can. Sometimes on a really good day, it's 1 person eating 1 can. All right. Why do they do that? Because they're clearly trying to hide something. What are they hiding? You see that label that says trans fat? Trans fat is probably the second dirtiest word in food behind sugar. But sugar is so good, it's delicious. So even if you know it's bad for you, it's hard to stay away from. But trans fat, ooh, yuck. Trans fat is what they're trying to hide. Because the rule of thumb is if the serving size is if the serving size has below 0.5 grams of trans fat, again, per serving, they do not have to label any value on the trans fat. Or they can leave it blank in this case. Now, if you're reading the label, that one thing you'll be thinking about, oh, there's no trans fat. I'm good with this. I'm going to put this on my cart. Without you realizing there might be 0.4999999, but because it's still not on 0.5 or above 0.5, I can leave it out. I can deceive you. Correct? Okay. So as you can see, there's a lot to digest with that one can. Literally a lot to digest. But moving forward, the thing that you just have to be aware of when you read these labels is that what we're trying to help you do is help you understand how to interpret these labels. From breakfast food, processed food, let's go with snacks. This particular kind of snack that most people in the Philippines know about, very, very popular back in the 90s because of the way certain movie stars, celebrities would use it to help them lose weight. To be fair, it really worked to help them lose weight. But the main issue is that look at all the bad ingredients that it has. Two ingredients in particular. I won't even touch on the major inflammatory, which is wheat. But look at these two ingredients. The first ingredient that I've actually circled or underlined here is hydrogenated oils. Now, hydrogenation is a process where you add an extra strand or you make the oil go through a process that we add extra hydrogen in it. Now, the danger here, the purpose of that is actually that it actually makes the shelf life of the product last longer. It stays crisp longer, but the problem is that it actually is one of the main causes for heart disease. The other one is artificial butter flavor. Now, artificial butter flavor is also another word for, of course, artificial taste. If there's an artificial taste for something sweet, there's also an artificial taste for something savory. And in this case, MSG is often used. Yeah? Okay, so now let's digest that. There's quite a lot in such a small packet. There's a lot of things that causes the body to have such a negative impact on the body. So just be aware again, all right? Okay, now from there, let's go with a drink. The drink here is that if you look at this, first of all, look at the size, 110 ml. Now, if you're not aware of this, a cup of water or a cup of anything is actually 250 ml. This is 110. So it's less than half a cup. In less than half a cup, please look at the sugar content. There's almost 4 teaspoons of sugar. Oh no, a little bit more than 4 teaspoons of sugar. That is an issue. But of course, I'm going to discuss a little bit on milk later on. But you're also looking at the sugar. But look at that thing, apple concentrates. Now, I'm going to discuss that later. But this is what gives fruit a bad name. Hang on for that. Okay. Now, how about milk? The actual essential milk. Is it healthy or not? Milk is not healthy for you. It's not. It's counterintuitive and it has a counteractivity to what it promotes. It is not good for your bones. Okay? Even if the marketing tells you for strong bones, body, and brain, it is not. This particular milk brand I wanted to discuss because it has a little bit more than just your basic, is milk good or not? Okay. When parents buy milk or when a mom goes to the grocery with their kids, when they look for milk, essentially when they buy milk, they want just plain milk, right? Milk. I want to buy milk. Okay. But if you look at the ingredients of this label, it doesn't say just plain milk. The first part, it says reconstituted skimmed milk or milk powder. What does that mean? It means it's powdered milk. They've added water in to make it have that milk look. Then they add in refined vegetable oil. Dude, do you want refined vegetable oil in your milk? How about refined sugar? Now that alone, those things shouldn't be inside milk. How about this one? My favorite word that irritates me so much. Nature identical flavor. You almost need to be a copywriter just to put all of these things together to make it sound really, really good. That's just basically artificial ingredients. And all those vitamins there, a vitamin should never be listed on the ingredients label. If it is listed on the ingredients label, chances are most likely they're synthetic vitamins, which your body can't absorb anyway. Okay? All right. Now, going into that next thing, which is I touched a little bit about it with the flavored milk, which is basically your juices. What, Harvey, I get asked this all the time. What is your view on fruit? Okay? Before I touch on fruit juices in these Tetra Paks or in these bottled containers, my rule for fruits: eat your fruit, juice your vegetables. I'll touch on the first part first. Eat your fruit, not and juice your vegetables. So eating your fruit, I always say eat your fruit because a fruit technically that it's not the glycemic index that affects it, but the glycemic load. What do I mean? A watermelon, if you look at the glycemic index of a watermelon, it's actually at about 95, which is really high. Okay? But for you to get 95, you have to eat the whole watermelon. Now, chances are you won't be able to eat the whole watermelon. But on a really hot day, somebody says to you, here's a pitcher of watermelon juice. You gonna drink it? Oh, if it has ice, everything, I'll drink it, even without any sugar or syrup in it. Why? Because it's so sweet. It's delicious, right? All right. Here's the issue. That will make the sugar, that will certainly affect the whole sugar because you're technically drinking the whole watermelon. That's easier to do. But to eat the whole thing, you can't do it because it's got a lot of fiber. It's got all these things when you eat a whole fruit. So that's why I always say eat your fruit and not drink it. So what about these juices in Tetra Paks or in the shelves of groceries? They're more like they're not even in chilled areas. When you see the word concentrate or UHT, that means it's been treated with high heat, that it has killed the enzymes. The enzymes essentially are what gives the fruit value. Okay? When you take that out, essentially you're drinking just sugar water. This is what gives fruits a bad name. A fruit is actually one of the most, in Tagalog, it's a term called kawawa, meaning you feel sorry for them because they're always put in the word that is going to cause or make your sugar go up. In reality, if you eat it, it shouldn't affect it. But if you drink it, it will definitely for sure. All right? And so just be aware of that again. I probably said that, just be aware of it several times. But again, it's an emphasis on what's really, really important. It might not sound logical. It may sound logical, but just process it properly before you actually put it in your cart. Here's another thing that I love. Don't ever fall in love with the brand name. Don't fall in love with a store that says, I am selling you something really healthy. You still have essentially got to look at the baseline of the product, which means nutritional facts, ingredients table, and all of the things. Where did this come from? How do they put this on the shelf? Case in point, this particular product, if you look at it, it says healthy you. So, I mean, how can it not be healthy, right? Well, if you look at the ingredients label, you will see that besides the cashew, the second ingredient listed there is hydrogenated oil. Remember we talked about hydrogenation before? That's what hydrogenation is. Bad for your heart. So again, they need to do this to lengthen the shelf life. Because if this thing goes rancid, which nuts can do very quickly, so it's in their best interest to keep this product in the shelf longer so that they don't lose money, right? So essentially, they keep this on the shelves longer, and when they do that, they don't lose any money. So it is something that they want to do. Something that was okay for you, add in a process that doesn't make it good, makes the product bad. Okay? Same goes for health stores or healthy stores. Make sure you still look at the products that they are selling. Just because they sell it at a special store doesn't mean it's healthy as well. Really important to know. Okay? All right. Next product that I like to talk about, going back into snacks and processed foods and things like that. Really popular: oatmeal cookies, carrot cakes, chicken hot dog, tuna hot dog, all these things. One healthy ingredient does not make the product healthy. Remember when we talked about frozen yogurt? Because it's healthy, you tend to gravitate towards it. I ask people all the time, would you eat a carrot cake or a San Shrival? People always say, I'll eat a carrot cake because carrot cake is healthy. No, it's not. It's got 6 to 8 teaspoons of sugar per slice. And because you think it's healthy, you're going to gravitate towards that. It's something that you say, anyway, it's healthier, so I'll eat that. Same with cookies. Cookies, you're looking at the oatmeal cookie. I've seen this so many times. In fact, I overheard it when I was at a coffee shop and somebody was ordering it. And I said, and they said, "Oh, oatmeal cookie, it's healthier." No, it's not, right? It still has the same amount of sugar. In fact, they have to put more sugar because it's not as sweet. Think about that. Okay? Same goes with these chicken hot dogs and tuna hot dogs. Still has a lot of sodium nitrates to preserve it. And again, it's something that you must be aware. Plus all the food coloring as well. Yeah? Okay. How about this new crazy craze where they're talking about kombucha? Wow, kombucha this, kombucha that. Great for your gut. Okay. Look at this particular kombucha brand. I just plucked this recently out of one of my clients' food logs that they sent me because I wanted to show you how bad it can be. Two things that you should be aware of. Kombucha is actually a great product, great for the gut, great probiotic. But to feed the culture of the kombucha, which is the one that makes the probiotic, which makes the good bacteria and the probiotic, it needs to feed on sugar. Okay? The thing is, you need to put in a ton of sugar to make it delicious. Otherwise, it's very, very sour as well. Okay? Now look at this. This one per serving has 20 grams of sugar per serving. One bottle has 2 servings. One bottle is about 500 ml. Okay? Most of the time, I'll tell you this, most people will drink that quite easily. So they're putting in 40 grams of sugar, 10 teaspoons of sugar. And they tell me, kombucha is really healthy. Yeah, it is. But is 10 teaspoons of sugar healthy? I don't think so. What about the guava concentrate as well? To flavor it, because if you drank that, you'll be tasting it like it's almost like just a sugary, sour drink. So they need to make something to add in an extra color, a purpley color, something that's quite nice for the eyes, right? So again, one of those things you just have to understand how to read the label. Okay, how about a very famous word that we put into anything and everything, and it automatically creates the healthy feel to it? Salad. Right? Salad. Filipinos are so crazy or creative, not crazy, creative when it comes to the word salad. Buko pandan salad, fruit cocktail salad, okay? But the word salad, we're so creative but in terms of putting it in, but if you look at this particular salad that we put on screen, it says this salad is 2,115 calories per serving. All right? You might as well, in terms of a caloric perspective, you might as well have eaten 3 Big Macs or 4 Big Macs. Not everything that you see in a place that sells salad is healthy. It doesn't give you a license to say, I'm eating healthy, I'm eating a salad. That's not the case as well. Because sometimes whatever they add into the greens, whatever little crunchy thing they add in, don't forget some of the cheese that they add in, also the dressing. The dressing literally kills. So be aware. Okay? All right. How about this? Very popular snack around. It's called siomai. Now, for a lot of people overseas, you might not know what that is, or unless you go to a Chinatown or you get to eat it. But this is a very popular Chinese dumpling that's now popular all over the Philippines as well. Steaming it does not make it healthy. At the end of the day, our rule for meat is if you don't know how it was made, in general with food, you are not truly in control of your body until you are truly in control of what goes in. So something like this, which is basically ground meat or ground something, you don't know what they put in, then I'm telling you for sure it's not healthy. In fact, I talked to one of the manufacturers of this place, of this particular snack. They'll tell you that one shomai costs about 1 peso to make. Okay? 1 peso. Okay? So if it's 1 peso, what the heck did they put in to make that thing the way it is? I couldn't stress that enough. Okay. All right. Now let's go to some basic essentials like cooking oil. A lot of people take that for granted because they say it's just cooking oil. In fact, this is how we always look at cooking oil. Today, cooking oil, cholesterol-free is a given. You go in the market today, you go into the grocery, you look at cooking oil, every cooking oil or cooking oil product there basically says cholesterol-free. So that's a given. Now, how do I look at cooking oil and say this is healthy for you? This is what we do. We actually think about it and say how much processing or how much chemical is added in to the source to extract the oil from the source. Example, like canola oil. Canola oil from rapeseed, you have to put in a ton of hexanes, a ton of caustic sodas and aflatoxins to put it in just to extract oil out of rapeseed. Okay? Whereas coconut oil, it's a simple, maybe a refinement here, refinement there. It's not so complicated. Okay? In fact, but not all coconut oils are created equal. In fact, this particular coconut oil or cooking oil actually goes through a three-stage process called refine, bleaching, and deodorizing. And this particular cooking oil, you have to add in a ton of chemicals just to get the oil out of copra. Okay? Although you can do it in a healthy way, you can actually go through a process where you can expeller press oil out of copra. But in this case, this one, they don't do that. So they put in a ton of chemical just to extract the oil from the source. But when it comes to oil, I have one rule. And that rule is never, ever reuse oil. You use oil once. And when you use it once, you have to throw it away. Because if you use it more than once, you actually increase the likeliness of carcinogens being activated in your body. Now, what do I mean by that? Because a lot of the food that we eat today are actually deep fried, like tempura, tonkatsu, all of these different types of foods. In fact, there's a special way, a Barrett method, that you can actually make fried food healthier. Okay? Now, the fried food that we're talking about here is the Barrett method fried chicken, the BFC. Quite delicious. The cooking style is very special. We use a culinary coconut oil to shallow fry it. The reason we don't do deep frying is that because what we don't want to do is use a deep fryer, put it through a deep frying process, use the whole bottle of oil and then chuck the oil out. That's just too costly. So what we do is we shallow fry it and then we put it in the oven above a baking tray just to make it a little crunchy, and we serve it. Okay? And the flour we use is not inflammatory. The flour we use is cassava flour. So again, I will tell you where you can buy all of that stuff. Okay? All right. Now, how about other foods? Very popular today. If you look at the market today, social media puts it out there. Plant-based this, plant-based that, vegetarian this, vegan that. Okay. Even with that, you cannot just trust it being safe. But this one in particular, if you look at it, has MSG, monosodium glutamate. It has sodium aluminum phosphate. Now, that sodium aluminum phosphate, we're going to touch on that a little bit. But this one is meat-free nuggets. So if you look at it, you think, this is vegan, this is vegetarian. I don't know if you noticed this, but this actually has some animal products in it too, like egg white powder. So just be aware. Sometimes when you look at it, you think, this must be plant-based, it's vegan, I can eat this, no problem. But without realizing there's a lot more other ingredients you can add into plant-based that makes it, remember what I said, from really good to bad, just by adding bad ingredients. Okay? All right. Now, let's touch on that sodium aluminum phosphate. Now, this particular product has been around in the market since I was a boy. As far back as I can remember, I probably had this several times as a young boy growing up here in Manila. Okay. This particular product, if you look at it, pancakes. It's a Sunday meal. It's a holiday meal. Saturday, Sunday, pancake day. Okay. Normally, pancake is okay. But how do you make that pancake? This particular product that's underlined, sodium aluminum phosphate. I'm going to repeat that again. Sodium aluminum phosphate. That's baking powder. That's why baked goods can be very, very dangerous, because sodium aluminum phosphate is just plain baking powder. Now, why is it so bad? Why is it so dangerous? Baking powder? How can baking powder be dangerous? All right? Now, the word aluminum. Okay. How does aluminum affect the body? Aluminum linked to Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and all these other neurological diseases. Now, that is scary. Okay? Sources of aluminum are your baking powder. Okay? Sometimes antacids have them. How about aluminum foil? At home, we don't use aluminum foil. What we do is we use baking paper or parchment paper. Okay? It's very, very important, because when you heat aluminum, traces of aluminum seep into the food. When it seeps into the food, you take in traces of these. Parkinson's, it doesn't happen overnight. Tonight, you're okay. The next day, you're Parkinson's. It doesn't happen that way. This is one of those things that it happens and builds up in the body over time. Okay, so be aware. You don't want to do that too. And also, deodorants have aluminum in it as well. Again, check the labels, check the ingredients. It does pay off to make sure that you eliminate all of these harmful ingredients inside the body. Okay, how about something that's hardly ever discussed? Artificial food coloring. I don't ever see it online. I mean, you see sugar online. There's a big whole debate about MSG, and I'm sure that question is going to be asked, as it always does. I'm sure that question is going to be asked. And artificial food coloring is almost never asked. Now, something like that, is it really harmful? Come on, no one talks about it. How bad can it be? Well, artificial food color usually comes from petroleum sources. Okay, petroleum. What do we use petroleum for? For food? Or is it something that you probably put in your car to make your car go? Think about that. Okay, now, how about basic condiments? Fish sauce. You guys know fish sauce, right? Patis, very popular in an Asian pantry. Look at that. Caramel color. Caramel color is not the same caramel color that when you bite a chocolate or have your ice cream. It's not the same. It's not the same as that yummy brown, what do you call it? Thick, juicy, delicious thing that you eat and you got good memories about. No, that's not the same one. Caramel color actually comes from ammonia. Yeah, ammonia. So just to let you know that it's never as it seems. Okay? Now, caramel color or these things are present in a lot of the ingredients. In fact, that the original cola, Diet Cola drink that I showed you had caramel color. Some beers have caramel color. So it's important for you guys to be aware of that as well. All right. How about the most common pantry staple in an Asian household? Nothing is more common than soy sauce. Everybody says soy sauce. Oh, I need that. That's yummy. Put that on my kitchen countertop any day of the week. Now, this brand is a household name. It controls 90% of the market. Okay, 90% of the market. If you go to any restaurants, probably from a 5-star restaurant, to cafeteria, to even carinderia, what you will know here is that it is used so frequently either for marinades, for soy dish, for the main dish. In general, it's used so frequently because it's so cheap and delicious. Okay? Important to know that. Okay? It is, if you go to a restaurant, most likely it is used. Okay? Now let's look at the ingredient label of it. It says water, hydrolyzed soybean protein, and salt. Okay? Traditional soy sauce ends there. But soybean is actually an inflammatory as well. So soy sauce ends at salt. This one gives you a little something extra. It gives you sugar. It also has MSG. So we know that those two things are bad, but I've actually labeled or circled or square circled this thing called natural and artificial colors with tartrazine. Do you know in the 2 to 2,500 people that have come through my doors at Barrett Method over the 12-year period, only one person has told me what tartrazine is. Tartrazine, he used it in his business. He uses his business is, by the way, to color paint. So what is tartrazine? Tartrazine is yellow number 5. It is a synthetic yellow azo dye derived from coal tar. Break that down. Yellow azo dye is what's used to color paint, your t-shirt, whatever needs the color yellow. Tartrazine, then coal tar. Coal tar is asphalt, or in Tagalog, aspalto yan. It's used on your road. How on earth are these two things, okay, in your soy sauce? I just don't understand it, okay? The reason is human beings are very visual. We need to see our soy sauce look a certain way. We need our coffee to look a certain way. If they don't, we as human beings question it. But if it looks this way, we don't question it. So it's important for manufacturers to use these things. Okay? Banned in countries like Austria, Norway. I think in the EU, they've recently banned this because of all those serious side effects. You look at it, tumors of the thyroid, DNA damage, how about anxiety, clinical depression, all of those things. Okay? But if you say, Harvey, how can it be so bad? Why are they allowing it in food? Well, the FDA actually has a rule called GRAS, generally recognized as safe in small quantities. But if you look at the way we use soy sauce, we never use it in small quantities. Sometimes for breakfast, in a Pinoy household or in a Philippine household, we use it for tapa for breakfast. Lunchtime, we'll have bistek Tagalog. Dinner, we'll have adobo. Sometimes we don't have it, but it's part of our soy dish, toyo suka, which is basically what we put fish in or anything like that. It's so common to use. So you've used it every day, right? So it's there. So you might actually be at that generally recognized as safe in small quantities. It is so bad that the Philippine government has actually recognized it as a law. Republic Act 3720 actually says coal tar color for food as any poisonous and deleterious substance added to any food shall be deemed unsafe. So classified as poisonous and deleterious. Okay? It should end there. It should say you're not allowed to use it. But the caveat or the break of the law is this. Except, when such substance is required or cannot be used or cannot be avoided in its production. So even if you go to them and say, hey, there's tartrazine here, they will tell you, sorry, we got to use it. We cannot not use it. We have to use it. Then you go, oh, okay, what can I do? Right? But they consider it as poisonous and deleterious. So you're good to put in poisonous and deleterious substances in your food? Got to ask yourself that. And guess what? It's not just in your soy sauce. Huh? It's in everything. It's in your breakfast cereals. Local or imported. I had somebody come in and say, I don't eat that local stuff. Okay, don't worry. I will put in an imported stuff that has it as well. In fact, our laws mimic the laws of the United States. Tartrazine is not a Tagalog word. Tartrazine is an English word. All right? Okay, it's also in your chips. It's also in your chips, your local chips, it's there. It's also in your really favorite chocolate. Okay? And guys, I just happen to have chosen yellow. It is the same for red. It is the same for blue. It doesn't matter. If it's artificial food coloring, it's the same. Even in those beautiful colored drinks. Same. How about this one? This one almost certainly gets the parents out of their chairs because this particular bread product causes a lot of causes a lot of reaction from parents because they say, how can they do that to bread? Bread is meant to be harmless. It's just bread. Why do they need to put all that stuff in? That's bread. And yet they put tartrazine not once, but twice. Look at the label. Okay? Now, it's also in really popular foreign snacks. All right? Guys, I'm just talking about tartrazine. You have to remember there are a lot of products that bind together. You put them together, and if synergy can work positively in the body, synergy can also work extremely negatively to the body. So if you put 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, it can have a -7 effect to the body. If you put 1 plus 1 plus 1 positively, it can have a positive effect to the body. So again, it's one of those things that if you put it in, it might as well help heal the body. All right. Now, it's also in dog food. Here's a funny fact. Do you know that not most dogs are colorblind? Yet their dog food is colored. Why? Because human beings, when they buy it, they think more color means more nutrients. No, not more nutrients, just more food coloring. Okay? Be aware. Be aware. Even things like makeup. That's why it's important. Maybe one of the questions you should ask Aza De Baron or Mrs. Barrett Method at Mrs. Barrett Method. You can ask her about makeup because she knows all the good quality brands. But what I'll tell you about the science is that anything you put on your skin finds a way. It makes it a way to go inside your body. So just because you put it on your skin, you think it's safe? No, it's not. Transdermal nutrition. So whatever you put on your body is absorbed by your body as well. So again, overall, what's the issue? All that stuff we've talked about, what's the big cluck issue? The issue is that it builds up in the body over time. Whether you like it or not, all of these things will break your body down. Think of it like a giant balloon. You put trickles of water in every day. It doesn't affect you at the start. As a kid, it doesn't affect you. You eat this, you eat this. It's not going to affect him. He's a kid. When does that stop? When does that balloon burst? That's why you get people asking me all the time. They go, how come it didn't happen to me when I was a kid? How come when I was a kid, I could easily do this? I was smoking for 30 years and I didn't have a problem. Why do I have lung cancer now? Because at the end of the day, it builds up in the body over time. You don't want that balloon to burst. And that's what happens when you let it build up in the body over time. All right? Now, I want to talk about, really summarize it or at least put it all into perspective. The top 6 worst ingredients in food. We actually touched over it quite a bit already, but I wanted to break it down further. Refined sugar is number 1 on everybody's list. Everybody knows that. Everybody who signed up here probably knows sugar is bad for you. Non-nutritive at all. No really good ingredients there. And definitely cancer cells thrive on refined sugar. You could Google that to death. They will tell you, you eat sugar, refined sugar, processed sugar, all that stuff, it will cause cancer, surely. Hydrogenated oils. Some of these hydrogenated oils really, at a certain point, will clog up your arteries. It really cause bad heart health. Sodium nitrates, sodium nitrites, canned food, canned processed food is a major problem. Definitely a major problem. Kidney disease as definitely as early signs of hypertension. Okay, manufactured MSG. There's a big pushback about MSG being healthy. Just like sugar is natural, the sweet taste is natural. There are sweet alternatives, no problem. But MSG is not necessarily good for you. The taste of umami is natural. Beef broth, seafood, all of that natural. But when it's manufactured in a lab, it is really bad for you. When we work with people with seizures, when we work with people with neural or neurological issues, we tell them, you've got to stay off MSG and artificial sweeteners. Okay, artificial sweeteners are probably the craziest in terms of sweeteners because of its neurological and neural effects. So stay away from that. It is the one that's most perceived as healthy because it says sugar free. So just a warning there. Okay. Now, how about the last one? The last one, of course, is artificial food coloring. The example we gave was tartrazine, but all of those things are pretty much the same. Okay. Now, in summary, I want you to avoid all of these things that we talked about. Okay. Now, how do you find alternatives? We will get there. We will get there. Remember.